In our world today, each country offers its own unique blend of culture, opportunity, and challenges. While some places are dream destinations for many, others might not live up to expectations. In 2025, a surprising list of countries emerged where people found themselves regretting their move. These nations, despite their allure, presented unexpected hurdles that left newcomers feeling disillusioned. From cultural differences to economic struggles, these factors played a significant role in shaping the experiences of those who ventured there. As we go further into this list, we'll uncover the reasons why these countries have earned their spot. Whether it's due to challenging bureaucratic processes, high living costs, or difficulties in adapting to local customs, each country has its own set of reasons that make it less appealing to expatriates. Understanding these factors can help future movers make more informed decisions about their next big adventure. Number 10. Vietnam. Now, don't get me wrong, Vietnam is a country with its own charm and allure. But there are some aspects that can make life there a bit challenging for newcomers. First off, there's the issue of basic civil and political rights. The government, under the Communist Party of Vietnam, has a tight grip on freedom of expression, association, and even movement. Imagine wanting to start a community group or attend a public gathering, only to find out you need government approval, which is often denied if they think it's politically sensitive. It's like trying to throw a party and having to ask your strictest teacher for permission every time. Then there's the economic side of things. While Vietnam's economy is growing, there's a significant gap between locals and expats. This disparity can create a heavy social dynamic where scams and corruption become part of the daily grind. You might find yourself navigating through police bribes or dealing with the frustration of being overcharged just because you're not from around there. It's like playing a game where the rules keep changing and you're always at a disadvantage. Infrastructure development is another hurdle. Despite the country's growth, inadequate infrastructure and a lack of skilled labor continue to pose challenges. This means that while you might enjoy the low cost of living, you could also face issues like unreliable public transport or limited access to certain services. It's a bit like buying a cheap car that looks great on the outside but keeps breaking down when you need it most. Lastly, there's the matter of human rights. Reports of arbitrary arrests, political prisoners, and a judiciary that's anything but independent paint a picture of a place where personal freedoms are not guaranteed. If you're someone who values these rights, living in Vietnam might feel like constantly walking on eggshells, never quite sure when you might step on a crack. Number 9. China. China is a land of ancient history and rapid modernization, but as with any place, there are reasons why some folks might regret making the move there. One major factor is the air quality. Cities like Beijing and Shanghai are notorious for their smog-filled skies, which can make breathing feel like a workout. It's like living in a fog machine, except it's not nearly as fun or healthy. Then there's the internet situation. China is known for its Great Firewall, which blocks access to many popular websites and social media platforms. So, if you're used to scrolling through Instagram or catching up on the latest Netflix series, you might find yourself feeling a bit cut off from the digital world. It's like being handed a smartphone with no apps, all the potential but none of the fun. The language barrier can also be a significant challenge. While Mandarin is the most spoken language globally, it can be tough to learn, especially if you're coming from a language with a completely different script. Navigating daily life without a good grasp of the language can feel like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. Finally, there's the cultural adjustment. China's culture is rich and diverse, but it can also be quite different from what many expats are used to. From food to social norms, adapting can take time and patience. It's like stepping into a new world where everything is familiar yet foreign at the same time. Number 8. Canada. Canada, known for its stunning landscapes, friendly people, and maple syrup. But, as with any place, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, or rather, given Canada's climate, not all snowflakes and ice skates. One of the biggest gripes people have about moving to Canada is the weather. Those long, harsh winters can be a real shocker, especially if you're coming from a warmer climate. Imagine waking up to shovel snow off your driveway before you can even think about heading to work. And speaking of work, the job market can be quite competitive. Many newcomers find it challenging to secure employment that matches their qualifications, which can be frustrating after making such a big move. Then there's the cost of living, particularly in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Housing prices are through the roof, and it's not just the homes that are expensive. Everyday expenses like groceries and transportation can quickly add up, leaving some to wonder if the move was worth it. On top of that, while Canada is known for its universal healthcare, the reality is that there can be long waiting lists for certain medical services. This can be a tough pill to swallow for those used to quicker access. Culturally, Canada is diverse and welcoming, but adjusting to a new way of life can still be daunting. Some people miss the vibrancy and local flair of their home countries, finding Canadian cities a bit too focused on chain stores and lacking unique character. And let's not forget the tipping culture, which can be a bit of a surprise for those not accustomed to it. All these factors combined can lead to a sense of regret for some who make the leap to the Great White North. Number 7. Mexico. Now, let's head south to Mexico, a country famous for its rich history, vibrant culture, and delicious cuisine. While many are drawn to Mexico for its warm climate and lower cost of living, there are aspects that can catch newcomers off guard. For starters, the economic landscape can be challenging. Wages are generally lower than in many Western countries, which can impact one's standard of living. This is particularly true for those who move without securing a job beforehand or who rely on local employment. Infrastructure can also be a hurdle. While Mexico has made significant strides in recent years, there are still areas where basic services like water and electricity can be inconsistent. This can be a major adjustment for those used to more reliable systems. Additionally, navigating the bureaucracy for things like residency permits and setting up utilities can be time-consuming and frustrating. Safety is another concern that often comes up. While many parts of Mexico are perfectly safe, there are regions where crime rates are higher, and this can be unsettling for newcomers. It's important to do thorough research and choose your location wisely. On a lighter note, cultural differences can also lead to a bit of a culture shock. The pace of life in Mexico is generally slower, which can be a blessing or a curse, depending on your perspective. Some people love the laid-back lifestyle, while others find it difficult to adjust to a different rhythm. Despite these challenges, many people find Mexico to be a wonderful place to live, full of warmth and opportunity. However, it's crucial to go in with eyes wide open and be prepared for the realities of life in a new country. Number 6. United Kingdom. The UK, with its rich history and cultural diversity, seems like an attractive destination for many. However, there are several reasons why people might find themselves second-guessing their decision to move there. First off, the cost of living is a major concern. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, living expenses have been on a steady rise. According to the Office for National Statistics, a whopping 88% of UK adults reported an increase in their living costs back in May 2022. Fast forward to 2024, and things haven't improved much. The high cost of housing, especially in cities like London, can be a real shocker for newcomers. Rent prices are through the roof, and buying a home? Well, you might need to save up for quite a while. In fact, saving over $445,000 just to buy a first house isn't unheard of. Then there's the weather, the infamous British weather. If you're not a fan of grey skies and rain, the UK's climate might not be your cup of tea. It's not just about carrying an umbrella everywhere, it's the lack of sunshine that can get to you. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a real thing here, and it affects more people than you'd think. The gloomy weather can sometimes make even the most vibrant city feel a bit dull. Public services, once a point of pride, have seen better days. The National Health Service, NHS, while still providing excellent care, is under immense pressure. Long waiting times for appointments and treatments can be frustrating. Education, too, has its ups and downs. While there are world-class universities, the quality of primary and secondary education varies greatly depending on where you live. And let's not forget the political landscape. Brexit has left a mark, and many Brits now believe it was a mistake. The political uncertainty can be unsettling for those who prefer stability. Lastly, the social scene. While the UK is known for its pubs and vibrant nightlife, making friends can be tough. Brits are often seen as reserved, and breaking into social circles might take longer than expected. Plus, if you're used to a more laid-back lifestyle, the hustle and bustle of UK cities might feel overwhelming. So, while the UK has its charms, it's not all tea and crumpets. Number 5. Germany. Germany is often celebrated for its high quality of life, robust economy, and efficient public services. But for some, moving there comes with its fair share of challenges. One of the biggest hurdles is the language barrier. While many Germans speak English, particularly in larger cities, navigating daily life often requires a good grasp of German. Whether it's filling out official paperwork or shopping at local markets, not knowing the language can make things frustrating. Speaking of paperwork, the bureaucracy in Germany is legendary, and not in a good way. Processes like registering your address, obtaining a visa, or even getting a bank account can involve a lot of forms, appointments, and patience. The cost of living is another concern. While Germany is more affordable than some European neighbors, cities like Munich, Frankfurt, and Berlin are becoming increasingly expensive. Rent prices have soared in recent years, and finding affordable housing can be a daunting task. Germany also has strict rules and regulations, which can be overwhelming for newcomers. From separating your trash into 5 different bins to observing quiet hours on Sundays, there's a strong emphasis on order and discipline that not everyone finds easy to adapt to. Another surprise for many expats is the difficulty of making friends. Germans are known for being polite but reserved, and building close relationships can take time. Social norms are different, and it's not uncommon for newcomers to feel isolated at first. Lastly, while Germany is renowned for its efficiency, this doesn't always extend to customer service. Whether you're at a restaurant or dealing with utility providers, the service experience can sometimes feel impersonal or even cold. All these factors combined can lead to some expats wondering if Germany was the right choice for them, despite its many advantages. Number 4. Australia. Australia, the land of beaches, sunshine, and kangaroos. On paper, it sounds like a dream, but the reality can sometimes be different for those who decide to make the move. One of the first things that catches people off guard is the cost of living. While wages in Australia are generally high, so are everyday expenses. Housing, in particular, can be a major financial strain, especially in cities like Sydney and Melbourne. Groceries, utilities, and transportation also add up quickly. Then there's the distance. Australia is quite literally on the other side of the world for many, and this isolation can take a toll. Traveling back home to visit family or friends is not only expensive but also time-consuming. The climate, while appealing to many, isn't for everyone. Summers can be scorching, with temperatures reaching unbearable levels in some areas. And let's not forget about the wildlife. Spiders, snakes, and other critters are a fact of life in Australia, which can be a deal-breaker for some. Cultural adjustment can also be a challenge. While Australians are famously laid back, it can sometimes be difficult for newcomers to navigate the unique slang and social norms. Healthcare in Australia is excellent, but it's not entirely free. Medicare covers many services, but you'll often need private health insurance to avoid long waiting times for certain treatments. Lastly, job opportunities can be limited depending on your profession. Australia has strict visa requirements, and finding a role that matches your qualifications can be tough, especially for those in niche industries. While Australia offers plenty of sunshine and a high quality of life, it's not all smooth sailing, and some find themselves questioning their decision to move down under. Number 3. New Zealand. Just a hop across the Tasman Sea from Australia lies New Zealand, known for its breathtaking landscapes and friendly locals. However, this island nation isn't without its challenges for those looking to make it their new home. The first issue is the cost of living, which can come as a shock to many. While New Zealand offers a relaxed lifestyle, it doesn't come cheap. Housing, in particular, is notoriously expensive, with prices in cities like Auckland and Wellington often out of reach for many. Another drawback is the limited job market. New Zealand's economy is smaller, which means fewer opportunities in certain fields. Many expats find it difficult to secure employment that matches their skills and qualifications. The country's remote location is another factor. While its isolation is part of its charm, It also means long and expensive flights to visit family and friends abroad. This sense of being far away from the rest of the world can lead to feelings of homesickness. New Zealand also has its share of environmental challenges. While the weather is generally mild, the country is prone to natural disasters like earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, which can be unsettling. Lastly, while Kiwis are famously friendly, integrating into local communities can take time. The laid-back lifestyle isn't for everyone, and some people find it difficult to adjust to the slower pace of life. Despite these drawbacks, New Zealand remains a dream destination for many. But it's not without its realities, which can lead some to rethink their move. Number 2. Singapore. Singapore, a global financial hub, is often seen as a land of opportunity. But despite its gleaming skyscrapers and world-class infrastructure, living in Singapore isn't always a bed of roses. The cost of living in Singapore is one of the highest in the world. Housing is a significant expense, with rents for even modest apartments taking up a large portion of one's salary. Dining out and transportation costs can also add up quickly. Singapore's fast-paced lifestyle can be overwhelming for some. The city-state is known for its workaholic culture, and the high-pressure environment can lead to burnout. Work-life balance can be a struggle, especially for those in demanding industries. Another challenge is the lack of space. Singapore is a small island, and the limited land area means that personal space can be at a premium. Crowded public spaces and high-density living are part of everyday life. The weather is another factor. Singapore's tropical climate means it's hot and humid all year round. For those not used to such conditions, it can be physically draining. While Singapore is incredibly safe and clean, its strict laws and regulations can feel stifling to some. Things like chewing gum bans and strict fines for minor infractions can take some getting used to. Despite these challenges, Singapore offers incredible opportunities and a high standard of living. But for some, the realities of life there outweigh the benefits. Number 1. United States. And finally, the United States, a land of dreams for many, but also a place where the grass isn't always greener. One of the biggest challenges is the cost of healthcare. Unlike many other countries, the US doesn't have a universal healthcare system, and medical expenses can be exorbitant. Even with insurance, out-of-pocket costs can leave a significant dent in your wallet. The cost of living is another major concern. While salaries in the US can be high, so are expenses, particularly in cities like New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Housing affordability is a growing crisis, with many people struggling to buy or even rent a home. Work-life balance can also be a challenge. The US is known for its hustle culture, and long working hours are often the norm. Paid vacation time is minimal compared to other countries, leaving little room for relaxation. The political climate is another factor that can be off-putting. Deep divisions and polarizing debates can make life in the US feel stressful at times. Then there's the education system. While the US boasts some of the world's top universities, the cost of higher education is staggering. Student loan debt is a burden that many carry for decades. Lastly, while the US offers incredible diversity and opportunities, it's also a vast country, and the experience of living there can vary greatly depending on where you are. For some, the reality doesn't live up to the dream. So, there you have it, 10 countries that, while often dream destinations, come with their own set of challenges for those looking to settle down. Moving to a new country is a huge decision, and it's important to go beyond the glossy brochures and social media highlights. Every place has its pros and cons, and what works for one person might not work for another. At the end of the day, no country is perfect. It's all about finding the place that aligns with your values, lifestyle, and goals. Whether it's dealing with bureaucracy, adjusting to cultural differences, or navigating high costs, every expat journey is unique. If you're planning a move or dreaming about starting a new chapter abroad, remember to do your research, manage your expectations, and embrace the adventure that comes with stepping outside your comfort zone. Which of these countries surprised you the most? Or do you have your own experience living abroad? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating insights into life around the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.